There is a cast iron skillet in a farmhouse in rural Tennessee that has been in continuous daily use since 1889. It has never been washed with soap. It has never been replaced. It cooks better today than it did on the first day it was seasoned 136 years ago. Before this video ends, I'm going to show you a 1948 homemaking manual published by the University of Tennessee Agricultural Extension Service that documented 9 kitchen practices used by over 70% of American households. Practices that the commercial kitchen appliance and food processing industries systematically replaced between 1950 and 1970 with electric alternatives that cost more, last less, and produce inferior results in every measurable category. The global kitchen appliance industry generates over $300 billion annually. 9 kitchen practices that eliminate the need for most of that are not something that industry has any incentive to keep in front of you. That is not a coincidence. You already know some of these things exist. You have seen a cast iron pan at a garage sale for $2 that outperforms a $100 non-stick pan bought last year. You have tasted bread from a cast iron Dutch oven that no electric bread maker has ever come close to replicating. You have smelled a kitchen where something has been slow cooking all day in a way that no microwave or air fryer has ever produced. Your grandmother's kitchen smelled different from yours. Here is why. Let's go through all 9. Number 1. The cast iron skillet. A well-seasoned cast iron skillet distributes heat more evenly, retains temperature more consistently, and lasts indefinitely compared to any non-stick, stainless, or ceramic pan on the market. The seasoning, layers of polymerized oil baked into the iron surface, builds with every use and produces a natural non-stick coating that improves for decades. A new cast iron skillet costs $15 at any hardware store. A used one at a garage sale costs $2 and is often better seasoned than new. The global non-stick cookware market generates over $10 billion annually, selling a product that degrades, scratches, and requires replacement every 3 to 5 years. Number 2. The Dutch oven bread method. Bread baked inside a covered cast iron Dutch oven replicates the steam environment of a professional bakery oven that costs $40,000. The steam created by the dough inside the sealed pot produces a crust that no home electric oven with an open rack has ever matched. Every artisan bakery charging $8 a loaf is using a commercial version of the same closed vessel steam principle your grandmother used with a cast iron pot and a wood stove. A cast iron Dutch oven costs $25 new. Number 3. The fermentation crock. A ceramic fermentation crock sitting on a kitchen counter produced sauerkraut, kimchi-style pickled vegetables, and cultured dairy at room temperature, without refrigeration, without electricity, and without any purchased probiotic supplement. The beneficial bacteria present in naturally fermented vegetables, lactobacillus strains documented in peer-reviewed research to support immune function, digestion, and inflammation response, are not present in commercially canned or pasteurized vegetables. Pasteurization kills them. A ceramic fermentation crock costs $12 at any kitchen supply store. A month's supply of commercial probiotic supplements costs $40. Number 4. The cold larder shelf. Before refrigerators, a north-facing kitchen shelf or a small ventilated cold cupboard built into an exterior wall kept butter, soft cheese, eggs, and cooked meats fresh for days using nothing but the natural temperature differential of the building. In most American homes built before 1940, this cold larder shelf still exists behind a cabinet or a painted-over door. It costs nothing to use. It requires no electricity, and it keeps butter at perfect spreading temperature in a way that no refrigerator ever has. Number 5. The wooden cutting board. A thick end-grain wooden cutting board is self-healing. Knife marks close as the wood fibers compress and expand with moisture. Research published in the Journal of Food Protection in 1994 documented that wooden cutting boards harbor significantly fewer live bacteria than plastic boards after washing, because the wood's natural antimicrobial compounds draw bacteria into the grain where they die and do not multiply. The commercial plastic cutting board industry spent considerable resources attempting to suppress that research. It is still published. It is still cited. An end-grain wooden cutting board costs $12 to $20. It lasts a lifetime with basic oiling. Number 6. The rendered fat tin. A tin of rendered bacon or beef dripping kept beside the stove was the cooking fat for every meal in every farmhouse kitchen before 1950. It flavored vegetables, seared meat, fried eggs, and made pastry with a depth of flavor that no refined vegetable oil has ever replicated. The commercial vegetable oil industry, led by Procter & Gamble's introduction of Crisco in 1911, spent 50 years of advertising convincing American households that animal fat was dangerous and refined seed oil was healthy. The peer-reviewed science of the last 20 years has reversed that conclusion entirely. Bacon dripping costs nothing if you cook bacon. A jar beside the stove lasts a month of daily cooking. Number 7. The muslin food cover. Before plastic wrap and Ziploc bags, a damp muslin cloth draped over a bowl or a plate kept food fresh on the counter for hours by maintaining surface moisture and blocking insects. A yard of muslin fabric costs $2 at any fabric store and produces dozens of food covers that last for years. The global single-use plastic food wrap market generates over $4 billion annually. Number 8. The salt box. A small, open wooden box of coarse salt kept beside the stove was the seasoning, preservation, and cleaning tool for every farmhouse kitchen surface before commercial cleaners existed. Salt scrubbed cast iron, cleaned wooden boards, preserved cut vegetables, drew moisture from meat before searing, and seasoned every dish from a single open container that cost almost nothing to refill. A pound of coarse kosher salt costs $2. It lasts months of daily kitchen use. Number 9. The stockpot and bone broth system. Every farmhouse kitchen kept a stockpot on the back of the stove into which every bone, vegetable trim, onion skin, and herb stem went after every meal. The resulting bone broth, simmered for 12 to 24 hours, produced a collagen-rich, mineral-dense cooking liquid that formed the base of every soup, stew, sauce, and grain dish in that kitchen. Commercial bone broth now sells for $8 to $12 per quart at grocery stores and health food shops. The raw materials, bones from any butcher, vegetable scraps from any meal, cost nothing beyond what you already produce and discard every day. Somewhere between 1950 and today, each of these 9 practices was replaced by a purchased product, an electric appliance, or a disposable alternative that costs more, works less effectively, and lasts a fraction as long. The cast iron skillet became a non-stick pan replaced every 3 years. The fermentation crock became a $40 supplement bottle. The bone broth stockpot became a $12 carton from a grocery shelf. The 1948 University of Tennessee Manual listed all 9 of these practices because in 1948, every American household still understood that a kitchen was a production system, not a consumption system. That understanding still exists. It just stopped being handed down. I do not know what brought you here today. Maybe your kitchen feels expensive to run and you started looking at what you are actually spending it on. Maybe you inherited a cast iron pan or a ceramic crock and you did not know what it was actually built to do. Maybe someone in your family cooked differently and their food tasted better, and you have been trying to understand why ever since. Maybe you are building the kind of kitchen that produces more than it consumes. It does not matter which one. All 9 of these practices are available today. All 9 cost less than a single grocery run. And all 9 were standard equipment in every American farmhouse kitchen less than 100 years ago. Now you know what was in that kitchen. Now you know. See you next time. Next video, I'm going to show you the compost hotbed system that every farmer in America used to grow food in January before propane greenhouses existed. It costs $6 to build, and it works on any property regardless of size or climate. See you then.